Well, low-income families and seniors who receive monthly food benefits from the federal government, known as SNAP, well, they could eventually be able to purchase hot or cold prepared meals through that program.
It's part of a proposal introduced last week called the Hot Foods Act. News 5's Ashley Portillo tells us more about the bill and how it could impact families here.
Patience Kabwasa is the executive director of Food to Power, a nonprofit increasing access to food in Colorado Springs. She works with families receiving SNAP benefits.
They don't have another way to eat. They're reliant on, attending soup kitchens or being able to access food that is already prepared.
Colorado Senator Michael Bennett introduced legislation to help with this, saying the current provision for SNAP benefits is outdated. Right now, families on SNAP benefits cannot buy prepared foods, but this legislation would change that, allowing families to buy rotisserie chickens, hot sandwiches, and soups, for example.
I think locally we will see more folks who are houseless, people who are living in hotels, being able to access food. Not everyone has a kitchen, not everyone has access to prepare food traditionally.
Of the more than 42 million SNAP participants across the nation, almost 70% are children, elderly, or those with disabilities.
I think is just going to be helpful to you in your life and just creating less barriers for people who are already experiencing hardship.
Kabwasa says the legislation would help all local families, including those who live in southeast Colorado Springs, a community where many rely on public assistance.
Like anything that we can do to make sure that they are able to have the ability just to have one more hot meal or one more fresh meal on the table is absolutely, it just makes sense.
In Colorado Springs, Ashley Portillo, News 5.
And Senator Bennett released a statement on this bill. It reads in part, food insecurity is one of the greatest threats to the health, well-being, and academic success of our children. That's why I introduced legislation to cut red tape in the program that prevents Coloradans from using their SNAP benefits to buy prepared and hot foods for their families. That bill, by the way, introduced last week, and has a long way to go still before it could be signed into law by President Biden.